What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the brand new LEGO Star Wars Yoda's Jedi Starfighter set 75360 with 253 pieces that retails for $34.99. So this is a pretty cool set. Now we've already had this like more recently. I think in 2017 they released a Yoda Starfighter. So I'm kind of surprised they've already remade it here once again, but they did improve it some, give it some more of the proper shape and everything. But it still, looks relatively the same. There's not a whole lot of difference. Like I said, they did mess with some of the cockpit design to get it more rounded off and everything. But just like the last one, we get pretty much the same figures, so we get Yoda and R2-D2, so not a whole lot to it. And this is from the Clone Wars series, what's supposed to be from, since we see the ship in that. But if we spin it around, we can see the ship and then some details on it. So you can see Yoda and R2-D2, we have the spring missiles there, and then that Yoda can go into the cockpit and stuff. So pretty cool, I guess, overall. Like I said, it's not like the best LEGO set ever, which is kind of typical, and overall it feels a little lackluster, especially for the $35 that it is. I feel it should at least come with one more figure similar to the Obi-Wan Starfighter we got, where we got one of the Kaminoans, so I feel we should have got something else along with this set, but we just got the two figures as usual, so not a whole lot surprising there. But let's go and look at the set, starting with the minifigs. So here are the two minifigures, so we get Yoda and R2-D2. So first we have Yoda, which looks pretty good. So Yoda, like we've seen him a lot more recently, so he's got the shorter legs to make him even shorter, but the normal size torso with the more cream colored robes on over the top, so it's got the robe there and then going down into the legs with the tan outfit on underneath, and then some green that of course goes up into his head, and overall looks pretty cool. So it has the nice like all soft rubbery material head, but I like how it's all molded out there. So we got his eyes, nose, mouth, his long ears, and then even some of the lining going into his head all the way back to the little bit of hair he has there on the back of his head, and then you can see he has like the hood of his robes there on the back, of course the green hands, and then he has his green lightsaber. So should be the the shorter lightsaber for Yoda, but I assume it's just the standard one for the Legos. But overall looks pretty cool, but just looks like Yoda we've had before. I'm surprised they haven't given us more of like the short legs like they do with the Harry Potter characters, the short legs that have the movement, just so we could have that in for Yoda, but they just give us the normal straight legs. But because of my background here, he sometimes falls over pretty easily. And then we have R2-D2, which we've seen a lot, and especially more recently in the Yavin Temple, so he's going to be pretty much the same. So it has the gray or silver headpiece with all the blue details of R2, of course, like the eye design and stuff, and the little lights that go red and blue and everything, and just like I said, all the little details there, and then the printing on the front where he's got more blue details and segments and stuff, just all the little details, the bare white legs. So I won't be surprised till we eventually get some printing on there, and then a little bit of printing there on the back of the droid as well. But other than that, not a whole lot to it. So two pretty simple figures we've had multiple times, and nothing real surprising or more in detail or anything with them. So they could have new and update stuff that I just don't recognize or anything, but they both look pretty cool, but pretty standard, and so not very exciting at the same time. And that brings us to our set, of course, the Yoda Starfighter. So this is a modified Jedi Starfighter. So we've seen other Jedis have the Starfighters like this, like Anakin, Obi-Wan, and some other characters and stuff. But it's a modified version. So it has a small sphere-shaped cockpit right in the middle. That also has an astromech socket, so we have the little segment back there. And modified version of the hexagonal panels on the ends of the wings. So how we've seen with the normal ships like these, they have the fold-out wings that are normally in like a hexagon shape, but his are a little bit modified to fit in with the ship design and everything there. So overall, I think it looks pretty decent. I'll bring in a shipping comparison so you can see what it's actually supposed to look like. And overall, it looks pretty decent. Like nothing really wrong with this. Like I said, the one thing that I can really tell with the modification, so I'll put up a picture of that old set just so you can see what it looks like compared to this, is that they got the cockpit more rounded off. Like it had like some lumps and stuff up here where they got it more rounded off, which is more correct. But it's cool where we have the cockpit piece. We see this design with the other Jedi versions, and kind of similar to the TIE fighters and stuff, which kind of fit in, especially with the hexagonal shapes there on the side. Like I said, Yodas are a little bit weird compared to the other Jedi versions, but we have that design, and of course we can open up, which we'll do in a second. We have the two guns out of the front here, which on the real things they're sort of like more built into the segment over here, so they should be just over a little bit more, but they're fine just in the center there. And then of course we have the spring-loaded missiles there, so we can shoot those off if we want. So we have them sticking out of the back, so you can just push on one of those and they'll fire right off. Of course I always hate those because I don't want them firing off, but you barely touch the set and they'll sometimes just shoot off itself. As I said, we have the section for the R2 droid, so you can put him back here. We have a clip so we can store Yoda's lightsaber on the back of the ship, so just there. Of course, obviously he wouldn't do that in real life, but it just has that there so you can put Yoda in the cockpit. And then I like how we have the engines in the back there with the blue pieces, so the engines are ready to take off, which is pretty cool. And then we have the wing design, so as I said, a little bit different shape for them compared to the other Jedi fighters, but it's pretty cool. So we have the logo there, which is Yoda's logo. It's like a symbol that's supposedly like like spells Yoda or whatever, so his own special signal. So that is on both of the wings there, and then on the sides we have the Republic logo as well, so stickers there on each side of the cockpit. Now with these wings, they do fold out, so we can fold them out, and we have this Technic piece in the middle that sort of stops it, so they can only open up that far there, so they're always sitting at an angle. So we can do that with both sides just to keep them open there, so that allows the wings to stay open. But of course, if you want to try and like keep it in that form without it on something to keep it up in the air, it kind of just leans forward there, where if you have them folded up, it will sit down perfectly flat on the table there. So that's just a different option. So if you want to have them open and stuff on display, you'll probably need to get some pieces to put under here just to keep it up a little bit. But overall, I think it looks pretty nice. Like I said, not a whole lot to it and not very complicated stuff, and pretty simple, but it, you know, carries out that look. And then we could go and look at the cockpit, so we can just open the little door piece here. So we have the fronts where you can see inside, so we have some like red pieces there for like panels and stuff. So just have that to control, and a little seat in there. We also get the roof that opens up, so it allows to give you more access in there. So we can take our Yoda minifigure. Now, since he doesn't have any bendable legs or anything, he has to pretty much stay standing the whole time. So you just got to get his arms up so they're out of the way, and then you just pop him on the pieces back there, and he'll just be sitting or standing, I guess, in the ship. And you can fold the top piece down, and then the front piece there. So Yoda's now back inside the ship. And then if we spin it around, we can then take R2 and put him back here in the little droid piece. So you just sit him down in there, so he'll stick right on the back there. And then, as I showed, we have the clip for Yoda's lightsaber to take his lightsaber and clip it right on there. So there we have Yoda in the ship now, ready to fly and go off on his own adventures. Now, as I mentioned, I do have a thing to compare it to. So I do also have the Micro Galaxy Squadron Yoda ship. So this is what it's more supposed to look like, you know, a more realistic interpretation of it in the toy form. So with this, you know, you can see the overall shape. Of course, it has the landing gear out, so I'll fold it up so you can see it more here. So of course, it has the wings that open and close. You can see with the Yoda's logo there on the side. Of course, the guns here in the center, so that's why I said they're more off to the side there, and then just supposed to have a more rounded shape in the center, where they have it kind of more squared off, so you can, you know, have it sit on the bottom with those guns built and stuff. But still pretty similar, like same sort of cockpit piece of the rounded glass. Of course, up top here, it's got glass design, so you should be able to see in the top where this, it's just got sticker. We have the section for the droid to sit in, and the engines on the back there. So pretty similar, you know, overall pretty similar shape and design stuff, you know, same sort of function, the wings open and close and everything there. So not a whole lot different, just obviously the location of the guns and then the roundedness of the cockpit is really the only difference between those two. So I think overall this is a pretty good representation. It's just, like I said, definitely not the greatest Lego set ever, and I wish there was at least another figure thrown in to fill out more of that price. But like I said, overall it's pretty fine. So if you have the money and like the ship, I would recommend it. But if you're on the fence about it, you could probably easily skip out on it. But let me know your opinions of the ship down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. But thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.